Diving into the mailbag with Cam Underwood, State of the U. Join him right there for Miami football coverage, baseball season as well. Of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel for the very best in college football coverage. 97 media contributors just in 2017. Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, and iTunes for the audio. Okay, new subject here, Cam. Defensive line coach. Great hire according to Terry King. Viewer comments here. Terry King says, great hire with Coach Simpson. Don't be surprised if the defensive line is just as good or better this year. It will depend on the D tackle play. If we get great play from Silvera, Bethel, Willis, Ford, we will have one of the best defenses in the country, not just the ACC. The back seven is loaded. The secondary has depth. Go Canes.
Yeah, that's a lot there. The secondary does have more talent in bodies and numbers than we've had. Linebackers are the same three guys that they've been for the last 2 years. So, I mean, you put those together in the back seven. Yeah, and we do need all the guys up front to really play well. I think that Demetrius Jackson, coming back from a torn meniscus, he's going to play both end, and I think he's going to go inside to tackle a little bit, just like his high school teammate Chad Thomas did last year. And I think that our Demetrius did that as well on a couple plays. You know, you put your speed package in and you take a defensive end, put him inside, with, three other guys and things like that. So, yeah, the defensive line position does have some talent. We do need all of our guys to really play well. We're going to rely on some younger guys. Jonathan Ford, Nessa Silvera are a sophomore and a freshman each. I think that Jordan Miller, who's a true freshman as well, is super underrated because he lived in the middle of nowheresville. I mean, this school that I had never even heard of for 3 years before he transferred to Jacksonville Sandalwood. And then he all of a sudden blew up because a kid never did any camps or combines or recruiting events really, but he's 6'4", 330 pounds. He does need to lose a little bit of baby fat in there. But, I mean, I watched the film on Jordan Miller, and I really liked what I saw. I liked what I saw out of Jordan Miller more than I liked from some 4-star and 5-star guys at the defensive tackle position. And that's just being truthfully honest. And I talked to a lot of recruiting analysts that I am close with and whose opinions I respect, a bunch of football coaches who I'm close with and whose opinions I respect. And to a man, they pretty much all said the same thing. Now, I'm not going to say that, like, Jordan Miller is the best defensive tackle recruit in America, and, we lucked out on that, but I think that he's way better than people are giving him credit for. So he would add into that rotation as well. Going to the coaching level, Jess Simpson, he was not on my radar. I wanted Kevin Patrick from NC State, who's a Miami Hurricanes Sports Hall of Famer. He was a first-team All-American and national champion when he played here years ago. But Jess Simpson, he's certified. I mean, he coached at Buford for 20-something years. He was head coach for 12 years. They won 7 state titles out of 10 appearances in a state championship game out of 12 years. He had 12 losses in his entire high school coaching career at like a 93%, I want to say, win percentage. And everybody in Buford was like, yeah, we never expected him to stay here for 20 years. Like, even from when he was an assistant and defensive coordinator, like, we thought he was going to be gone in 4 or 5 years. And you hear that, you read the profiles, and there's college and professional defensive line coaches who would go to Buford, Georgia, to learn more about coaching defensive line from Jess Simpson. He's been around this game for a long time. He developed a lot of players at that level, went to Georgia Southern or Georgia State for a year. Then he was with the Atlanta Falcons for a year as an assistant coach. He wasn't like the defensive line coach, but he was a defensive assistant in the NFL. And then, now he's with Miami and Mark Richt. So it's turned out to be really good, and everybody is saying that, he's such an authentic person that he's going to do well on the recruiting trail, which, even though I do still think that Craig Kulagowski is the best defensive line coach in America, there was much to be desired on his recruiting of defensive line, and I wrote about that around signing day. And from all the early returns, Jess Simpson has the same caliber of coaching ability and an increased amount of recruiting ability because he's personable. He's a family guy. He has 4 kids, which is, something that Mark Richt obviously wants on his staff. And, everybody's saying, if it takes relationships and being authentic with the kids and their parents to really be successful in recruiting, Jess Simpson's going to do well. And he already has gotten a commitment from a player, and he's working on a bunch of other players in this class, 2019, and then also next classes, 20 and 21, all to rave reviews. So, if if this is a guy who coached at the high school level for 20 years only because he wanted to keep his family in the same place while his kids grew up, which is by all accounts what happened, and then immediately got a job at the college level for a year, even if it's a smaller school, and after a year doing that, he got a job in the NFL, yeah, no, that's going to work for me. So obviously I want to see the player development when we get on the field with these guys, and spring practice does start on Tuesday. So hopefully all these guys who are being coached up by Simpson, they do develop, and then they do have a high level of performance in the next football season. But, you know, as far as, oh my goodness, sorry, as I sit here right now, I have nothing but positives that I've either heard or read about Jess Simpson. So I'm excited to see what he can do in Miami as defensive line coach.